This is just a quick review about my MSR Whisperlite International. It's not the Universal. Um, I've had this stove for a couple of years now, like probably three or four, maybe even five. I don't really recall. I've used it on a lot of backpacking trips and camping trips and stuff over the years, and I really like this stove, especially since I moved to a different region. And I've been doing a lot of mountain climbing this summer, or this past summer, and backpacking and stuff. So I normally use an MSR Pocket Rocket if I'm doing low elevation stuff or it's just me. But since I've been doing a lot of high elevation camping and hiking and stuff, like over 10,000 feet plus, uh, I've been using this a lot more because it has its own little pump right here, as you can see, and it doesn't use a pressurized canister like most traditional stoves do. This uses various size bottles, and I run white gas. It's like $10 or something for quite a large portion of it. Coleman makes it, and a bunch of other companies make white gas. But by far the coolest feature about this stove in particular, besides it being able to adjust for the altitude since you can pressurize it yourself and you're not relying on a pre-pressurized can, is the fact that it can run off so many different fuel sources. So it can run off white gas, unleaded gas. I think it might run off diesel. Don't quote me on that. I know it can do kerosene, all sorts of fuels, which is really convenient. You don't have to just use white gas. You can just go to the gas station and get what you need. Some things I will note though about running unleaded gas or kerosene is I'll show you on my stove is you get a lot more soot. I don't know if you can tell under there if there's some soot and stuff, but I usually clean it off every time, but some of it's just stuck on there. Not a big deal, but white gas is cheap enough that that's what I run. It's my preference. So the way this works, I'm sure you've seen plenty of reviews if you're thinking about buying this, is you use this pump right here, and it goes inside the bottle and screws in instead of the cap. Then once you have that on, you shove this little hole end right here into here, push it in, remove this little arm around, and then it locks right there, as you can see, so it holds it in place, and then the bottle will obviously keep this sitting upright. So then once you have that, you just pump the little handle, pressurize it, and then you pour some fuel. You'll crank the little knob just a hair. You'll hear it come through the line, and fuel will fill up in this small bowl right here. You light that. It causes a huge flame. It takes about a minute or so, maybe 2 minutes for it to burn out, but what it does is it heats up this tube right here, which the fuel goes through that, and once that tube's heated up, it'll vaporize the liquid fuel inside, and it'll cause it to turn into a gas, and you'll get a nice little blue ring of fire depending on how hot you have it and stuff. But this stove it's great for high altitude camping and larger groups. I mean, it sounds like a freaking jet engine when you have this thing at full blast. It's super powerful. It boils water very efficiently, and there's not enough good things I can say about it. Also, if you ever do have a clog in your stove and it's not getting fuel through, it's called a shaker style stove, so you can hear that. Once you take the bottom cap off right here, just on threads, pull the wick out, you can pull out the tube inside of here below this jet right there. Sorry for the terrible quality. There's like a little needle and it self-cleans, so that's all it takes. And there's just some snap rings holding these legs on, so it's really, there's not much more than this. And you can take this hex nut, just take a hex driver, screw that off, and you can clean all these little washers and stuff out. It's not that big of a deal. But this is a really good stove. I've used it a lot, and it's by far my favorite, especially for larger groups or, like I said, going up in higher altitude. Makes a huge difference. And it'll also, you can cook marshmallows over it if you want or whatever. Not that I do when I go backpacking, but when I go camping, I usually make s'mores with my girlfriend and stuff, so that's been pretty nice. I think they're like $100. Totally worth the investment. The bottle, I think you have to buy separate. They're like $6. It's similar to like a cig bottle almost. Just a super good little stove. It comes with a bunch of accoutrements inside the bag. So it comes with a little folded stand that you can use to set the stove on. It has a windscreen that it comes with. Instructions and all that good stuff. I usually just take all that out. And then it has a little wrench, some pump oil, the other jet, and then an O-ring, which I think that's really nice that it comes with a little spare tool kit and some oil and stuff. I think it's pretty cheap if you do have to buy that on your own. And then I just put my lighter in there if I don't pack a flint and steel or whatever. Really, really good stove. Totally worth the money, especially if you're doing high altitude stuff. By far, it's one of the best stoves I've used, and I've had it for years. I will say I'm a huge fan of MSR products. I don't really venture out past them because I think they're the best for stoves. They've always served me well. They're super reliable and tried and true for me. So my quick little review about that. If anyone has questions, let me know.